Esdeekid, who is he? Yeah, we're gonna get into this. Is it dual spines? Is it Timothée Chalamet? What does Mazza L20 have to say about the situation? These things we're gonna discuss in this video. So make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel to grow, and we really appreciate every bit of support. Just a quick disclaimer up front: everything discussed in this video is alleged or allegedly content for entertainment, informational purpose only, not stating facts, not making claims, won't be held liable for the content or how it's interpreted. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about Esdeekid. So Esdeekid is an emerging artist whose name has been popping up more and more across online music spaces, whether you stumbled across a track on social media, seen the name mentioned in comment sections, or heard someone quickly say, yo, this kid is different. So Esdeekid's been carving out a lane that doesn't neatly fit into one box. From what's publicly available and alleged, Esdeekid presents as an artist focused less on polish and more on raw expression, someone who leans into emotion, mood and atmosphere rather than chasing mainstream formula. But on that note, it's alleged that he's received a 30 million pound or dollar deal. I think it's alleged that it's from Capitol Records, but you know, these things are what's going on. And there's a basis for that because he is charting, at least certainly in the UK. So the name Esdeekid feels intentional. It sounds coded, like a handle you'll find buried in a niche corner of the internet rather than a label-approved stage name. It suggests youth, experimentation, and even a bit of anonymity. And, you know, some artists want the spotlight. Others seem more interested in letting the music speak first. And it seems like it's the latter that Esdeekid is seeking, as I say, allegedly. So musically, SD's sound doesn't come off as overproduced or over safe. The tracks often feel moody, introspective, and sometimes intentionally rough around the edges. And it's not a flaw, it's a choice. There's a sense that the music is less about perfection and more about capturing a feeling in the moment. The vocals can feel detached, emotional, or even confrontational at times, depending on the track. Production wise, it leans atmospheric, sometimes minimal, sometimes distorted, but always meant to pull you into a specific headspace. So this is the type of and kind of music you don't just play in the background. It demands attention, or at least presence. So lyrically, SD's work allegedly touches on themes like isolation, identity, frustration, ambition, and internal conflict. There's often a sense of someone figuring things out in real time, not pretending to have all the answers. Instead of neat storytelling, the lyrics can feel fragmented or stream of consciousness, which actually adds to the authenticity. It mirrors how people really think and feel: messy, contradictory, unfinished. And that's just an opinion. Other people have different opinions on how the music forwards. And for a lot of listeners, that's the exact appeal. So Esdeekid up to date hasn't been what you'd call a heavily commercialized artist. Not yet. And the present feels a lot more underground, more word of mouth, the kind of artist people find on their own and then gatekeep until they don't. It's a kind of organic discovery. It often leads to a small but loyal fan base, and those are usually the listeners who stick around the longest. So his audience connects less to the hype and more to relatability. It's not necessarily about numbers, it's more about resonance. So why is Esdeekid getting attention? Because in an era where a lot of music feels manufactured for algorithms, SD's work feels human, imperfect, emotional, sometimes uncomfortable, and that's refreshing. Whether or not the artist breaks into mainstream, there's a value in artists who push vibes over virality. So that's Esdeekid, an artist still unfolding, still evolving, and allegedly getting started, because there's some people who say that it's the same person who is dual spines, and more of that later on. But anyway, as I said, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now, as regards, there's speculation that he's received a £30 million deal. So let's just take a look at a bit more of this line. I say a lot of stuff is based on rumour and speculation. In respect to the £30 million deal rumour, it suggested that it was signed with Capitol Records, but nobody seems to know what the details are. It just seemed to be a figure that's been kind of bandied about, and it was on social media posts and Reddit threads late 2025. So he's with Lizzie Records, and there's a speculation that maybe the deal would cover 3 or 4 future projects, but there's no confirmation, as far as I've seen anyway, from Capital nor Esdeekid team publicly. So it's not really been confirmed. Now, in terms of tracks, as of early 2026, he had non-album singles between 20 and 2023, SoundCloud, May 2024, Black Beatles Remix, Apathy, Standalone, Slurricane, Number, Gracious, Palaces, Tapped In, Ferragamo, Warming Up. And then there's this album, A Rebel, from 2025. It's a debut album through Lizzie Records. Notable tracks on that album include LV Sandals with Fake Mink and Rico Ace, Phantom with Rico Ace, Four Roars, and that, yeah, a lot of people have been playing that one. Cali Man with Rico Ace, Miss with Rico Ace. I think I should do a video on Rico Ace because he seems to be forward and out there. And also a tune called Rottweiler. And then there's been later singles toward the end of 2025. Century, 5 a.m. Panic. I think it suggests that 5 a.m. might be on radio and chart lists. So there have been rumours that Esdeekid had been formerly known as a person called Jules Spines. There's one of the videos here you can see Jules Spines performing, and it's purported that both Esdeekid weren't on the stage at the same time, and Jules Spines was wearing the same, I think it was jumper or top as Esdeekid, but we will see, you know. And yeah, Jules Spines, but there's, as I say, it's not something that Esdeekid himself has confirmed. He's done a track with Timothée Chalamet, and he's from Liverpool, but sometimes it's, you know, it's said that there is some sort of American influence there as well. There had been some speculation that Esdeekid and Timothée Chalamet is the same person. I doubt that. I do think they are two separate people. I think Timothée Chalamet's in a film recently called Marty, and Esdeekid, the debut album, so I put it released June 2025. It charted on the US Billboard. So we're talking about USA, not even UK, at number 23. So that's quite significant for a debut project from a UK underground artist. In the United Kingdom, Rebel reached number 16 on the UK albums chart, and on the official chart company listing peaked around number 14 at one point late 2025, early 2026. It's logging 18 weeks in the UK top 100 albums overall. It's also appeared in national album charts for Ireland, Sweden, Germany, Norway and others, and also in the US independent albums and US top R&B and hip hop album charts. So I think Esdeekid was also nominated for a MOBO recently. So MOBO awards are coming up, so we're going to see whether he gets that award. There's speculation that he made it. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, MOBO relating to sort of hip hop. I have to double check what category he's in, but I think it is. Well, we'll see if he wins a MOBO. Let's put it that way. But yeah, Century got a UK top hit. That's a single, I think. Century is. Top 10 peaking at number 10. Phantom Rico Ace charted at number 12. The UK Four Roars entered that UK top 40 but peaked around number 27. And there's a mixture of UK top 40 placements in multiple weeks, charting within the top 75. As I already said, Rebel as an album reached number 25. And Rebel's Billboard 200, I think, still shows standing out, still shows a major marker of global impact. So yeah, this is an artist making a lot of impact. In relation to Jules Spines, this isn't an artist who did chart, but he's got music on platforms such as SoundCloud and Apple Music, but there's no official biography or verified public record of who Jules Spines is. In terms of records and early track, there's a track called Altered, a track featuring Esdeekid, released in 2025. I think that's probably what he was performing at that show that you can see earlier on in the videos. And other uploads linked to Jules Spines from early 2025 include Cap for Your Head, Celestial, and they seem to appear in community playlists containing Esdeekid's music. I mean, it doesn't take a brain science, I guess, to work out that there is some similarity, if not them being the same person. A lot of people think they're the same person. So Yeah, man. So yeah, thanks for watching and listening to the video. So I think recently, just an update recently, I think there's an artist called Mazza L20 who he says he had done a track with Esdeekid earlier on in his career, and now that Esdeekid's got the deal, Esdeekid's not really being communicative, allegedly not being communicative, because Mazza, I think the track might have even been taken down. Allegedly, I'm not completely certain about that, but that's what's been alleged, because I think the nature of the deal that Esdeekid has allegedly means that it would control any music release. So I think Mazza L20 has had a bit to say about that. So you can look up what he's got to say about that. I think but in summary, he's saying, you know, I helped you early on in your career. I posted your music. I think you should give me an opportunity to release that track now. Obviously, you're gone clear. As you can see, from 7 million to 22 million streams on Spotify. So Esdeekid's gone well clear. So Mazza L20 is probably thinking, why can't you, you know, return the favor while you're in the limelight and allow a track that we produced together to be released and, you know, to go on the platforms. But there seems to be some issues with that. Hopefully they can sort that out. But yeah, man, this is a summary essentially on this brother Esdeekid, perhaps Dual Spines, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, man, he's making an impact in music right now in 2026. So I thought I'd do a quick video on that. So yeah, big up everybody, big up all the people listening, watching and all sorts. Make sure you like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you. As I said, the channel's growing, and you know what? Man's done talking.